I remember my grandmother always saying, the night has no eyes. She would tell my dad, my mom, and they would nod their head. They'd go out, on a date or whatever, and I would be with my grandmother and grandfather for the night. Um, we didn't question when we were younger what was being said. We mostly listened. My cousins and things, we were there playing and whatever, and we among ourselves we would go, what is she talking about? We knew she was saying something, but we didn't quite get what was going on. You just didn't talk about it. It was just like, okay, we'll figure this out ourselves. Like critical thinking. Think. So as we became older, she said the same thing to me. I would go to a night football game with my boyfriend or with the girls, go out somewhere, and if it was going to get dark, she would always start up The Night Has No Eyes. As we got older, I started thinking she was talking about that you don't know what's out there. It's a 50-50 chance whether you're going to come back or not. And have you ever thought about that? When you walk out that door, it's half and half. You might make it back and you might not. And our family, they've always, I will see you. They don't say goodbye. I will see you. See you soon. When they hang up on the phone, see you soon. If the other person says goodbye, they say see you soon, or they don't say anything. And the night doesn't have any eyes. Sometimes we go to bed with struggles, with obstacles, and the night is daunting when you have a problem. It's just like that 50-50 chance. Am I going to get out of it or I'm not going to get out of it? When you step out at night, are you going to make it back or not? And at night, the night has no eyes. When people do go out, you can't see what's going on. Everybody can't see what's going on. Some are asleep. Some can't see. Some are not going to help you. Some are not going to snitch. And it's the same thing with our budgets or whatever we're struggling with. Night is the most daunting. If somebody is passing away, the doctors are just waiting on 12 o'clock. Well, if it gets long ago, all the time, they go, if it gets 12 o'clock, we're doing good. 12 o'clock at night. Just past that 12 o'clock mark. Somebody was sick in my family, they'd go get past that 12 o'clock mark. It may be a myth, but I've heard doctors say if we just get past this time and head on into the daylight, we're going to be all right. The person's going to be fine. And I still hear it to this day. If you can just get past that time. We don't know whether it's working or not. God has his time when things are going to happen. Doctors can't tell you really what time that person's going to die to the minute, the second. You don't know. Or if they're going at all. But people have struggled with things, and at night it's daunting. You may have struggled with a job. You were struggling getting a job interview. You don't know if they're going to call or not tomorrow. You're worrying all night. Some of you are up all night. Your career, your family. Maybe how am I going to get to work tomorrow? Maybe the car's sidelined. Who's going to fix it? I don't have enough money. Maybe you're worrying about the family. Maybe there's family abuse. Maybe somebody's missing. It's more daunting at night, and people are up all night. You're not the only one that's up and walking or waking up or can't sleep. The rose path in life has obstacles. People have roses, but roses have thorns. The roses and the thorns are trying to tell you there are obstacles in life. There's problems in life that are going to hurt. Thorns hurt. They're there to protect the rose. They're not there to protect you. I always told everybody, don't give me any roses. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be hurt. I don't get roses. I don't have roses around my house. Yes, they're beautiful to look at, but they have obstacles. They're there to protect themselves. And they can protect you at times if you have them planted around your house. But I'm not interested. But we have obstacles in life, and you go to bed with those obstacles. I remember way before this paycheck budgeting thing, and my husband had passed away. And he had left our finances in an awful mess, which kind of culminated into me also cash stuffing because it wasn't getting any better. I had lost half of an income, more than half, and we still had the same amount of bills plus whatever else he had. I was determined that I was going to pay his bills also. And my bills were over $4,000 expenses that I could pay that month. That's not saying they weren't more. There were some I was just ignoring, but I knew I had over $4,000 worth of bills. I had a little under $5,000, and I was sitting there wondering, how you gonna pay that? You got just barely. You can't even get to 5. You owe 4, and that's cutting it really low. I was just right there. And I said, you're going to have to get a loan. Well, the way the finances were, it would have been a payday loan for about $2,000. $2,000, $2,200, just to get us through the month, to make me feel better that I had something behind me, something to take care of the car, something to take care of feeding the kids, anything that would happen, helping paying off the bills. But that payday loan was detrimental to my health. I had already seen the percentage rate. I already seen what the payments were going to be like. They were probably close. I think they were close to $800 a month. And I said, in the long run, it was a bad decision. In the short run, it was a good decision. It was like, you can breathe. Oh, you can pay that off. But in the back of my mind, I was going, we got other things that are not going to get paid off, and this $800 was going to be a stumbling block. Then my other mind was going, yeah, go ahead. Let's do this in the morning. Let's call them up. This was at night. I struggled. I was an obstacle. Okay? I went from the struggle bus, as Amanda calls it, Amanda's budget. And then I went to a struggle train at night. And then I went to the struggle plane, and I was getting ready to crash and burn because I just knew somewhere that $800 a month for all these months to try, and it was not going toward all of the loan. They were only putting like maybe $100 toward the loan. The $700 was going to them. So can you imagine how long that loan was going to go at $100 a month? It was probably way over, even if you said 20 months, it probably was more than that because they were going to add interest. It would probably been 3-4 years, and I would have still been paying that one little loan off. So the morning came, and what I hadn't did, see, I'm doing things in my mind. I've got close to 5,000, and then I got 4,000 to pay. And I don't have enough money to keep this going. I got gasoline for the car, the kids' lunches. We need groceries. We need this. When I woke in the morning, what I hadn't did was add everything up. You didn't check. You're just using brain power. Sometimes brain power without paper power is a little dangerous because I'm going 4,000 minus, whatever. I think it was 4 something, but I barely had it. It was like I had like 4,900, and it was 4. I remember these fours. And I said, oh, we're going to have like $500 left. In my mind, just going. Hadn't checked anything. I checked back in the bank and got a piece of paper out. It wasn't this. This is my daughter's paper. She budgets now. My son budgets now. And I didn't have a budget sheet. I just sat there with a piece of paper. And I got the calculator, looked in the bank, and I said, oh, in the savings account, there was an extra $250. Okay. Then I started subtracting what I owed and everything. So really, when I got finished going back over the bills, who I could pay at this moment, I actually had $1,359 left. I remember that number to this day, $1,359. It was some change added to it, I don't remember. But it's not a lot, but it was enough to get me through the month. It was enough to fill my needs, not my wants. And I remember telling the kids, we're only doing what we need. This is all we got. Food, whatever we need for whoever, but the other things are wants. We're not doing a want this month. Because I was already on the needs and the wants. I had already drilled this into them. Even though we were on a downhill slide, I was like, we can't do it. I can't do it. I will do it when I get the money, but I can't do it now. If it's a new game system, I can't do it now. Can you wait? This is what we had. I always kept my kids in the loop, no matter how young they were. Because one day they may have to go through the same thing I did. And not putting them in that loop, you feel embarrassed about it. After a while, when I first did it, and I was like, I got to tell them I don't have it anymore. Your dad's not here. There's nothing to lean on if we're short. He wasn't the breadwinner of the house. I was the breadwinner of the house. But, that extra bump right there, we could lean on it and do what we had to do. But we just went down. There was 2 incomes gone. There's one gone, and there's no recourse. You can't get anything out of it. Even the job, they showed up at the funeral. They're smiling. Nobody's giving us severance pay. Nobody's saying anything but, oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry can cut like a knife sometimes when you don't have anything. Even at a funeral. I was at the funeral thinking, how are we going to get through this? And I was thinking, thank God there was something to pay for his life insurance, which was a struggle in itself. He almost canceled it. So, we got needs and we got wants. And this is the time to make sure you write something down. And the night it's going to get you through. It's going to be hard. Thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? But then I realized I don't need that loan. I've got $1,359 left over. And when I'm thinking about, I may not have enough for something when I was struggling, before the budgeting, I kept going, check, make sure before you lose it. Check with the companies. Can I do this because this is not happening? And yes, you're going to have those times. You're going to still be struggling. You're going to be struggling about something altogether different. About how am I going to pay this? What can I do to make it better? Yes, you're going to be struggling. But my grandmother said the night has no eyes. You got to get to the daylight. The Bible says, he says, when we're all gone, and in that other plain and field, there is no darkness. It's always daylight. He's trying to tell you the night is just not it for even God. It's daylight. You're going to see a light. And sometimes you got to depend on him to get you to that light right now. You got to have faith. You got to get going. You got to think about the universe. The universe and God can do wonderful things. I had been struggling a couple of times during this phase. I remember when I had $5 on me. And that's all I had. It was either put $5 worth of gas in the car, $5 go find something to eat for the kids. I walked in, something said, go get a lottery ticket. I'm struggling. I'm sitting there going, you are crazy as all get out. Okay, crazy as a mug. I went on, bought the lottery ticket, came out, and I just prayed over the lottery ticket. I prayed hard, wouldn't scratch it, got it home. And I gave it, my kids were here, I gave it to my daughter. I said, just scratch the ticket, it's probably nothing. She scratches the ticket. Mind you, we have nothing, all I had was $5. I had zero in the bank. There was no more money. We had to go through the rest of the month. We were not there at the rest of the month. We spent all that money in 1 week. And things were looking pretty bad. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to get some more money? We're not the type, I don't go ask my parents for money. I've never asked my parents for any money. If I lost money, I just went on. I remember a lady in the lunchroom when I was in middle school. You pay for your lunch. They would give me a $20 bill. She didn't give me any change and kind of rushed me on. And I said, I gave you $20. And no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And I was floored that somebody would accuse me of giving something and I'm asking for my change back. And I was just kind of in shock. I just went to sit down. And the rest of the week, I didn't tell my parents. I didn't eat lunch. I just waited till the next week. And I just told God, I remember then, I was in middle school. I was in the 7th grade. And I just remember saying, God, just take care of it. And he did. We won't go into that. But, you're going to have struggles with this. It's not going to work sometime. But that lottery ticket, she scratched it. That lottery ticket had $2,500 on it, that little $5 lottery ticket. And we were okay for that time. And that's when I was still looking at the budgeting and I said, I got to get out of this. And it's not all about budgeting. It can be something else. God produces miracles. And who did we think when she scratched it? The first word was God, who's part of the universe, who made manifestation. who listens to everybody, no matter how crazy it may sound to you. So, yes, we have struggled. Yes, you will move on. Tomorrow's a better day. And I'm not saying go out and get a lottery ticket. I'm just saying start looking for some little miracles in your life. And let God take care of it. If somebody's bothering you or saying something to you negatively, you keep that positive spirit. You just look at them. You know, have you ever stood up? I was talking about looking down yesterday. I look up sometimes and then I look around and I see other people looking up. And I'm like, okay, why? Because, see, I don't look up because other people are looking up. What I do is I start looking at them. That's my first thing. Why are you doing that? And I'm looking around to see is anybody else looking around. I don't immediately gonna look up unless I hear a sound. But I got to figure out first, why are you looking up? What are you doing? And then I want to see what everybody else is doing, because you know, you can get a hoax or a scam or whatever. I'm always looking at people constantly when they're walking in and walking out. But you're going to have obstacles, and they may not be with money. They may be with your child. They may be a wedding coming up and you don't want them to get married to who or boo or whoever it is. It may be a relative. It may be a close friend. It may be a cancellation on your travel trip that you've always wanted to go, and they won't give you your money back. It may be trying to fix things like your house, and they won't come out to fix it because that's not enough money for them to do. And you're just going through all that. There's just stuff that happens. That's part of the universe. And people wonder, why does God keep letting us do this? He's trying to tell you there's a path to him. There's a rough path, and there's thorns in it. And you got to weed your way through the thorns to get to him. That just shows him, do you love me or you don't love me enough to get where I am? Are you still acting the same way? Yeah, you're going to get some thorns thrown at you. He put everybody on this world. Part of it is thorns. And you got to weed through. Some of those people are thorns. They stick you. They say something to you. They say something on TV. That's a thorn that you don't like. But you wiggle your way through it and you forget about it. You know, it's like, I'm getting through this. I don't care what you throw at me. And people will do that. They throw things at you. Then you're sitting there boiling and steaming. But you got to think, the night has no eyes. You will get through the night and you're going to get out of this. You're not listening to what everybody else has to say. You have to listen to yourself and your God and your choice and whether to do wrong or right to get where you're going. If you're going to do wrong, you may come out on top for a while, but you have to answer to him. In the end, I wouldn't want to be you if you have to answer to him about all the bad things you may have done. I mean, horrible things. Things maybe you didn't love mankind. How you going to not love mankind, and you're going to talk to the person that made mankind? Little difficult. How you not going to love your brother and sister, whether they're right or wrong in your eyes, and still talk to the person that made them and you? What are you going to say? See, you keep pushing it away. It's like the doctor tells you you're having surgery in about a year. My girlfriend did that. She had a fibroid tumor, and everybody just thought she was heavy. The tumor was in her stomach, of course, in that part, and I won't go into all that. Read up on it. But it was a huge tumor and that looked like she was overweight, and the doctor wanted to remove it immediately. She was scared. She said, let me lose some weight. She wanted to lose some weight. She said, I do need to lose some pounds. She was afraid to go under and be overweight. Her husband calls me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he says she's gone. My daughter's name is named after her. And so she, he called her big, and so we could, figure out who we're talking about and little. And I'm thinking in 2 o'clock in the morning, oh, my child? No. Oh, your wife. Okay, what happened? I thought she was in the hospital, but I'm like 2 o'clock in the morning, something happened. And she had passed away. She had fell out her driver's side of her car, and the tumor had pushed up against her lungs. That's how heavy it was. It was huge. I thought it was part of her body. It was this huge tumor that the doctor wanted to get rid of. And it had practically suffocated her. He couldn't lift her up. He was a firefighter. He called his buddies from the fire station. By the time they got around that corner, she was gone. They were trying to resuscitate her. And he said, she's gone. And he said she was just scared. She was scared to go through the surgery. And I told her, just go. That this could kill you. And he says it did. So when you're thinking of a struggle, just go. And fix it the best way you can. And don't fall in the path of people that tell you things or don't like you because of whatever. It could be the color of your skin or whatever. People of color have been here, and we're still going to be here. There's still going to be Caucasian people. There's a difference in my family between Caucasian and white. Caucasian people are the good people. They recognize the cultural diversity. They recognize they're friendly, they're happy, they'll help you whatever you're doing. When we call people white, it means you're not helping anybody but yourself and your little section of your race. You are even against the Caucasian people. And that's been through history of our family. You're a Caucasian or you're white. And when I hear my family go, no, that's that white woman over there, man, okay, that's when something's blue. They don't deal with it. But they're Caucasian. You have a name, you have prestige, okay. And it's okay. Jewish people have their own section. We call them, they're Jewish. I grew up with Jewish people. I grew up with Caucasian people. I grew up with black people. I grew up with brown people. I grew up with Indian. I grew up with Spanish people. And it's kind of hard to sit and the diversity. And I said, if I was over the world and all this was going on, I would be asking them too, what were you thinking? If I was God, I'd be going, I made you. What were you thinking? What are you doing? And you think you're going to walk into heaven right now? No. We got to talk. We got to fix this. This has got to work. So think of what you're doing, and you just keep on struggling. And don't worry about everything. Don't worry about it. If you need money, don't worry about if you're a person of color. Don't worry about the reparations. We got it. We know what we need to do. You got it. You know what you need to do. Caucasian people, you got it to help us. You know what you need to do. Everybody's cool out. We just got this one little section of the world. And if that one little section is bothering you, continue on. There's somebody somewhere to help you. And if there's not, help yourself. Hispanic people, help yourself. It's okay. We're going to make it. We're going to get through. And the haters, they going to hate. As they say, my kids say it all the time, haters going to hate. And they roll on. That's why you don't hear a lot of what's going on, because everybody's like, okay, we've been fine so far, and we're going to be fine later on. So don't worry. And you get yourself together what you need to do and how you need to do it. And don't let the night get you. It can get you. It gets me sometimes. I'm sitting here thinking and struggling. But like, I need to change this around. And in the morning comes like, oh, good grief. I sat there, went to sleep, woke up thinking, oh, you need to call and do this. Get up in the morning. It's over. And off I go into the world. So you may not like this little talk, but that's what Cash Bear Mama does. I'm not just about cash. I'm about life. And I know some of you are struggling, and I'm praying for you. When you say something's wrong, I'm right there. I may not say anything. I may write on there, I'm praying for you. But just remember, God's got this. He's taking care of you. You're just in a bad moment right now. You can't think it out. It's okay. Just take it easy. It's a struggle. It's a short struggle, and you're going to be back on top. Once again in your little world, and all of us are going to not be going, we're debt free. We're going to be free, period, with this money. You're going to be free, and you can just tra-la-la along your way. So today, take a little prayer, take a breath, take time for yourself. If you need to meditate, if you don't know how to pray, you just tell them, God, take care of this, please. You don't have to have these long prayers and long scriptures. He already knows what you're going to ask anyway. He just wants you to ask. And he's going to do whatever is best for you. And he's also going to hold back because you're not even trying to take care of yourself. He wants to see what you can do sometimes. And some of you don't listen to him. You know, I'm not going to do that. That's not it. You know, that little voice. Sometimes you hear things, or maybe your child says something, or your husband or your wife says something, and bingo, that was him talking. They had that show on. Remember, What If God Was One of Us? What if he is? What if he is that person talking to you? He had to put it through to you some kind of way because you're not listening. It's time to listen and get out of this. I'll be so glad, technically, when everybody does not have to worry about money. And you should always, instead of saying, I want to be debt-free, I want to be wealthy, I want to be prosperous, I want to have wealth, and wealth means different things for different people. It does not mean a whole lot of money sometimes. Sometimes wealthy to you is, I want to have $20,000. I want to have enough for retirement. That's wealthy to some people. We got to get off of the word wealthy. You keep thinking that you got to have millions of dollars to be wealthy. There are people with millions of dollars right now that are not happy, and they are super wealthy. They're in their little mansion by themselves with their little butler by themselves alone. But you can be wealthy. You may have 9 kids. Everybody's fed. I got enough. I can retire. We can go to the beach. I can pick out Disneyland's over there. Maybe we'll even go to Europe. I got enough money. I'm retired. I'm calm. I can put my kids through college. You're wealthy. You're fine. You're okay. That's their wealth. It's none of your business. We need to get off of the term of I'm trying to be rich. What's that gonna do for you? Oh yeah, the house and the car, the big house, the big car, but you're not happy, and then all of a sudden there's this divorce happening, and half of the money is going to your spouse, and you make more money than they do. So especially if you're a woman, so you gotta pay them. Nah. And some of these, some of the kids look at celebrities, and I always laugh. And my kids, I've already told them. I remember one of one girl was talking to me, teacher at school, and she was like into Chuck Norris. All she saw was the Chuck Norris pictures, the old movies where he was in. And I said, you know that man's like over at the time. I said, I think he's almost 80 years old. She was floored. When people look at celebrities, you think they're this certain age. And I kept going, they're not that age. I said, I can even tell my kids in school, they're talking about Snoop Dogg and all this. And I love Snoop Dogg. But I tell them, you know how old Snoop Dogg is? You know how old Nelly is? So they would come up with these people, Drake, really, their mind is thinking, they got to be in their 20s. They're 18 years old. No, they got money to do facials and stuff. They're not that young. Some of them had struggles too before they got where they're at. So you got to get in that mindset, people. Get in the mindset and not look at wealth as, I got to have millions. If you get it, good for you. Do something with it. Prosperous. Help somebody. Get yourself together. It will be wonderful when we don't have anybody on here that's budgeting and struggling. That they're budgeting because we're budgeting because we got it. Let's show you what we can do with it. That's what I want to say. Some of them are, I remember there's some channel on here now. She does not have any debt. And she came on and she says, I don't even know what to talk about. I think I better close my channel because I'm debt free. And I'm like, you just gave up? You're just not going to talk about anything? Life is just, you're done with the money. Okay, you got all your money. I'm not talking about anything. Okay. But that is what you're going to feel like when you don't have anything to talk about. You're going to sit there, what am I doing now? You're doing life. It just feels strange because you won't have anything, no debt to talk about. And we shouldn't be talking about it anyway. Debt brings debt. Think of another way, prosperity. All them little papers will be gone. You'll still have the budget, I hope. Because if you drop this, some of you will be back in the shizzle. So, take care of yourself. And pray for everybody. Okay, some of you are struggling. I'm looking at the things. I may not say anything, and I may not say anything too much. Sometimes I don't want to say too much, but I am praying for you. Some of you have people that are ill. I'm praying for you. Some of you are dying. I'm praying for you. Every day I get a headache because I pray so hard. I have a horrible headache last night, but you're going to be okay. We're going to be all right. Because this too shall pass. You got up this morning, so you still got a road to drive down and go to. So just silently pray for everybody every day. And pray for yourself that it's not selfish to pray for yourself. Pray for guidance and love. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to go talk to a pastor. You got a direct pipeline to the Creator. You don't have to go. You got a direct line to the Creator and His Son. So don't let anybody bully you about that. You don't come to church. How would you know? I know more than you know. It's like Paul said, I'm more saved than you all. So take care. Love you. And I'm praying for you right now if you're having trouble. So close your eyes and think and calm down. It's all right. See you later.